Good morning, students. So in this video we will discuss about the first chapter of first unit, that is known as reproduction in organisms. Already we discussed in the physical classes. Again we will discuss the same chapter, that is reproduction in organisms. So already I told you what is reproduction. So what is reproduction? So reproduction is a biological process in which organisms produce new organisms similar to itself. In this process, the new organisms are also known as, they are called offsprings. Offsprings are also known as progeny. In this process, in reproduction, it is a biological process. Organisms produce new offsprings which are similar to itself, and this biological process is known as reproduction. And what is the significance of reproduction, and what are the advantages of reproduction? Reproduction, actually it enables the continuity of life. Without reproduction there is no life on this earth. So that's why reproduction, in this process organisms produce similar new organisms, so it gives continuity of life. And reproduction, basically in sexual reproduction also gives variations. So variations are very important in evolution. It enables it increases the adaptability of organisms in different kinds of habitats, and it also helps in formation of various generations. So these are the some advantages or significance of reproduction. And before going to discuss the types of reproduction, we should know about what is lifespan. So what is lifespan? So lifespan is a time period from birth to natural death. This is the time period from birth to natural death is called lifespan. So death and natural death both are different. Natural death means it is the complete stoppage of all vital organs, and death also occurs due to accidents, and death is also due to diseases, and death is also due to predators. But that is not natural death. Natural death means it is the stoppage of all vital activities. And the time period between birth to natural death is known as lifespan. And lifespan of an organisms, it may be few minutes to several thousand years. It may be few minutes to several thousand years. Some organisms have very low lifespan, and some organisms have very high lifespan. And lifespan of any individual, it depends on its physiological characters and their abiotic factors. And lifespan of an organism, it may be few minutes to several thousand years. So let us see some lifespan of some important individuals. So lifespan of banana plant. So lifespan of banana plant is 20 to 25 years, and lifespan of rose bush, it is the 5 years, and lifespan of dog, it is 20 to 25 years, and rice 3 to 4 months, rice plant 3 to 4 months, and wheat 4 to 5 months, and fruit fly has 1 to 2 weeks lifespan, and butterfly also has 1 to 2 weeks lifespan, and parrot has 140 years, and crow has 20 years, crocodile has 60 to 80 years, and tortoise 140 to 150 years, and banyan tree has 200 to 300 years, and some horse also has 60 to 80 years, and etc. And human beings has 100 years of lifespan. So lifespan of an individual, it may be few minutes to several thousand years. And some organisms have very less lifespan and some organisms have very long lifespan. And here lifespan of an individual, it depends on physiological characters and their abiotic factors. But lifespan of an individual, it is not essential to correlate the size of an individual's. Size of individuals is not determine the lifespan of any individuals. For example, here crow and parrot both have almost approximately have similar sizes, but they are different in their lifespan. Like a parrot has 140 years and crow has 20 years. And for example, mango plant and people. So mango plant and people tree both have similar sizes, but mango tree has less lifespan comparatively people plant. So lifespan of living organisms, they may be few minutes to several thousand years, and it depends on lifespan of an individual depends on their physiological activities and their surrounding environment, and it is not depends on size of an individual. Whatever be the lifespan, so death is or no individual is immortal. So at one time, so death is common in all living organisms, but except some single-celled organisms. In single-celled organisms, there is no natural death. So natural death is common in all living organisms except unicellular organisms. So what is the reason why there is no natural death in case of unicellular or single-celled organism? That is because of simple cell division. In unicellular organisms, cell division is nothing but reproduction, because in single-celled organism, the entire organism is made up of only one cell. And this single cell can perform all the life activities and all the physiological activities of the organisms. So that's why, so if this organism, if it wants to enable its next generation, so it must divide. So that's why it is divided, and the cell division is nothing but in case of unicellular organisms. When the parent organism divides to form two equal individuals, and these are called progeny, or this is the offsprings, and offsprings are also exactly similar. These offsprings are also exactly similar to the parent organism. That means in unicellular organism, there is no natural death because their body is equally distributed into their offsprings. So this parent organism remains alive in the form of their offspring or in the form of their progeny. So that's why there is no natural death in unicellular organism, or natural death absent in unicellular organisms because of cell division or reproduction. This is very important. And in lifespan of any individual includes 4 events. So what are the 4 events or 4 steps? They are juvenile phase, steps in lifespan, then reproductive phase, and third one is senescent phase, and last event is death. So death is common in all living organisms except unicellular organisms. So the first one is juvenile phase. So what is juvenile phase? The juvenile phase, it is the time period between birth to reproductive phase. When the organism get birth, from that to when they enter into the reproductive phase, the time period between birth to reproductive phase is called juvenile phase. But in this phase, organisms are unable to reproduce. However, they develop the capacity to reproduce. So that phase is known as juvenile phase. And the second one is reproductive phase. In this phase, organisms are able to reproduce. In this phase, organisms are able to reproduce because they have enough reproduction capacity. So that's why they are able to reproduce. And third one is senescent phase. Senescent phase means old age. In old age, there is a gradual deterioration in body functions. That means they are also unable to reproduce because they are already reproduced. Now they are unable to reproduce. The last one is death. So what is death? It is the stoppage. It is the stoppage of all vital activities. Stoppage of all vital activities is nothing but death. And these are the 4 events in lifespan of any individuals. So lifespan of an individual, it is not essential to correlate with their sizes, and it depends on physiological activities and their abiotic factors or environmental factors. And these are the various phases of lifespan. So let us discuss the different types of reproduction. So reproduction is broadly categorized into two types. So what are the two types? In all living organisms, this biological process is broadly classified into two types. Asexual reproduction. The first one is asexual reproduction and second one is sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, what is asexual reproduction? In this process, the new offsprings, in asexual reproduction, new offsprings comes from single parent with or without involvement of gametes. With or without involvement of gametes. If gametes are involved, then both gametes are produced or both gametes are released by same parent. Here biparental condition is absent. In asexual reproduction, the new offsprings or the new individuals or the new organisms comes only from single parent with or without involvement of gametes. And this asexual reproduction, usually during the asexual reproduction, the new offsprings comes through asexual reproduction. They are usually known as clones. The new offsprings comes through asexual reproduction are called clones. What are clones? Clones are morphologically and genetically identical to their parents. Morphologically and genetically identical to their parents. Such offsprings are known as clones, and clones are usually comes through asexual reproduction. Morphological identical means exactly they are similar to their parents, and genetical means the same kind of genes also preserved by their offsprings. That means they are exactly similar or exactly identical to offsprings, and offsprings comes through asexual reproduction, which are known as clones. And asexual reproduction, usually it is the characteristic feature. And what are the characteristics of asexual reproduction? Asexual reproduction, usually it is the characteristic feature of many unicellular organisms. And these unicellular organisms belongs to kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, and some lower fungi like yeast, it's a lower plants and lower animals. So asexual reproduction is the characteristic feature of all unicellular organisms, and unicellular organisms belongs to adverse kingdoms like Monera, Protista, lower fungi, lower plants and lower animals. And during asexual reproduction, the offsprings comes through asexual reproduction are known as clones. Already I told you what are clones. They are morphologically and genetically identical to their parents. But asexual reproduction does not gives variations. Variations are absent in case of asexual reproduction. When variations absent, so survival of new individuals, that is not guaranteed up to their adulthood. So when variations absent and organisms or offsprings also, they cannot adopted in different kinds of habitats. And asexual reproduction, asexual reproduction is always associated with mitosis, because the mitosis cell division, it maintains the same number of chromosomes both in parents and offsprings. So that's why asexual reproduction are usually always it is followed by mitosis. And the spores which comes through in some lower organisms, asexual reproduction occurs through spores, and the spores which comes through mitosis, they are also called mitospores. And asexual reproduction is uniparental because only one parent give rise to new individual, and it is very simple and fast. Because uniparental. The parent organism, it has some simple construction, and after some time it gives two or more than two equal or unequal new offsprings. So these are the some important characteristic features of asexual reproduction. So let us discuss, अब discuss करेंगे various types of asexual reproduction. So asexual reproduction further divided into various types. According to NCERT textbook, so we should discuss only the types of asexual reproduction which are provided in NCERT textbook. And types of, अब discuss करेंगे types of asexual reproduction. So asexual reproduction again divided into various types. So asexual reproduction are various types. First one is fission, next budding, next spore formation, another one is fragmentation, next regeneration, and one more important type, that is vegetative propagation. So these are the various types of asexual reproduction. So these are the various types of asexual reproduction. अब first discuss करेंगे fission. So what is fission and what are the types of fission and what are their examples? Fission is also known as equal cell division. Fission is also known as equal division because in this type the parent organism divided into equal halves, equal parts. So later each part develops into an individual. So that's why fission is also known as equal cell division. And this equal cell division again three types. Very familiar one is binary fission, and one more type is multiple fission, and another type is plasmotomy. The first one is binary fission. हम सबको पता है बाय मीन्स कितना 2 फिशन, अभी मैंने जस्ट आपको बताया था इक्वल डिवीजन. So in binary fission, in this type, the parent organism get divided. The parent organism get divided into two equal halves. So later each half develops into an adult organism. So in this process, the best example for binary fission, so that was a shapeless organism is amoeba, and one more example is paramecium, and one more is euglena. So these are the examples for binary fission. In amoeba, हम सबको पता है this is the shapeless organism and it is eukaryote. So it has proper nucleus, and along with nucleus it also has some membrane bound cell organelles. And this is the parent amoeba. And this parent amoeba, in this organism first nucleus divides, then cytoplasm divides. So class 11 already I told you the division of nucleus, what is division of nucleus and what is the division of cytoplasm. And in this organism, if you observe the amoeba, initially the nucleus elongates, and these are the remaining body parts of amoeba, and there is a constriction or there is elongation in the nucleus, and after that this one is the nucleus was completely divided into two daughter nucleus. So when nucleus divides into two daughter nucleus, then again so cytoplasm of the amoeba also it get constricted, and this is the nucleus, these are the various body parts, and then cytoplasm also divides, and this parent amoeba again divided into two equal parts, and each part later develops into new individual or adult organism. And in binary fission, if you observe this diagram, initially nucleus divides, then cytoplasm divides. The division of nucleus is known as The division of nucleus is known as karyokinesis, and division of cytoplasm is called cytokinesis. And here initially cytokinesis occurs, then karyokinesis occurs, then cytokinesis. So cytokinesis is followed by karyokinesis. So initially karyokinesis, then cytokinesis. So if you observe this example, in amoeba there is a simple binary fission. In case of paramecium, so in paramecium the binary fission is called transverse binary fission. In case of euglena, longitudinal binary fission can be seen in case of euglena, and transverse binary fission can be seen in paramecium, and simple binary fission can be seen in amoeba. In amoeba, binary fission, this is the parent organism. Parent organism equally divides into two halves, and each half later develops into an adult organism. Karyokinesis is followed by cytokinesis. So this is the binary fission. The second type of fission is called multiple fission. Multiple fission can also be seen in amoeba during the unfavorable conditions. Second one is called multiple fission. In multiple fission, the parent organism gets divided into more than two equal parts, and each part later develops into an adult organism. A three-layered cyst in this type, in multiple fission, can also be seen in case of amoeba. So during the unfavorable condition, three-layered cyst secreted around itself by amoeba under unfavorable condition by withdrawing its pseudopodia. So pseudopodia is a locomotory organelle. Under favorable condition, binary fission can be divided through binary fission, but under unfavorable condition, a three-layered hard covering or a three-layered cyst around itself secreted by amoeba by withdrawing its pseudopodia, and this happening is called encystation. So this is the parent amoeba, and this parent amoeba has nucleus and other organisms, and during the unfavorable conditions it forms or it secretes a three-layered hard layer, a three-layered hard covering, or this hard covering is known as cyst. And how cyst is formed? By withdrawing its pseudopodia, and formation of this cyst around itself is known as encystation. And now this is called encysted amoeba, and this encysted amoeba divides by multiple fission. This encysted amoeba multiplied by or divided by multiple fission to form many tiny amoeba. Inside this one there is large number of tiny amoeba or pseudopodiopores are developed. These are called pseudopodiopores. Pseudopodiospores are produced under unfavorable condition. After that, when favorable conditions comes, then cyst wall burst and the spores comes out in the nearby medium, and these spores later develops into new individuals, and this formation and this process is known as sporulation. So under unfavorable conditions, these spores later develops into an tiny or many adult amoeba, and this process is known as multiple fission. The third type of fission is known as plasmotomy. So in plasmotomy, the third one is called plasmotomy. So in this type, organism is unicellular, but it is multinucleated. It has many nucleus. This unicellular multinucleated organism get divided into more than two unicellular multinucleated organisms, and this process is called plasmotomy. It can be seen in Opalina and Pelomyxa, and these both are also belongs to kingdom Protista. And these three types, binary fission, multiple fission and plasmotomy, so these three are under fission. What is fission? It is equal cell division. In this time, the parent organism get divided into two or more than two equal halves. So later, when favorable condition comes, these halves or these parts develops into an adult organisms. This is the first type of fission. And the second one is called, the second type of asexual reproduction is budding. So budding is also called unequal cell division. Budding is also known as unequal cell division, because in this type the parent organism, the nucleus of parent organism get divided into equal parts. The large amount of cytoplasm remains with parent body, so that's why it is called budding. And budding usually it is of two types: external budding and internal budding. External budding and internal budding. External budding, due to repeated cell divisions. So external budding can be seen in case of Hydra. In Hydra, due to repeated cell divisions at one specific point, a bud develops as an outgrowth. A bud develops as an outgrowth. Due to repeated cell divisions at one specific point, a bud develops an outgrowth in case of Hydra. And at the time of maturation, this bud, it can detaches from parent body and develops into new individual. So this part is called external budding. And second one is called internal budding. And internal budding, it can be seen in aquatic sponges like Spongilla. So in Spongilla, gemmules are formed. Internally, large number of gemmules are formed. So what are gemmules? It is a mass of spores. Gemmules, which are mass of spores, develops internally. The body, they are found in freshwater sponges like Spongilla. Under favorable conditions, they matured and develops into new individuals. So budding is also one of the important type of asexual reproduction.